All right, welcome back to the channel. So Tyson Fury is out here talking like he got some sense. Unlike a lot of his fans, recognizing that Deontay Wilder he expects a dangerous, much more dangerous fighter out of Deontay Wilder in the next fight. And I believe that is most definitely the case. Unlike some people that believe that Deontay Wilder is no longer, even a B-class fighter, all of a sudden now 55-year-olds and 60-year-old retired heavyweights can beat him. At least Tyson Fury isn't selling that type of nonsense. And I think there's some special reasons why Deontay Wilder might be significantly more dangerous in the Trilogy fight than he was in the second one. And you know what it is, and we will be discussing it. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury will be fighting again, despite all of the talk about step-asides and this, that, and the other thing. All that stuff is getting pretty much blown to the wayside, and it looks as if Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury will be getting back into the ring probably in 2021 for the third of their 3 fights. Now, Tyson Fury, who is typically a very braggadocious and arrogant dude, while in the midst of being kind of crazy, dishonest, talented fighter, and all the other things that Tyson Fury is least recognizing the fact that he's going to be in a dangerous fight when he gets in there with Deontay Wilder. Now, before I get into why I think it's going to be dangerous, let me take a couple seconds to say thank you to you for continually watching the videos on the channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. It's really fun chopping it up with you guys. If you guys have specific messages for me, please message me on my Twitter. It's easier for me to reply to those comments than it is on the YouTube page, because I'm now getting, lots of comments. So it's harder to keep track with. So follow me on Twitter. Thank you so much to everybody that supports in the live streams, supports through the membership on the channel, and supports through Cash App and the super chats and the live streams that we do. You guys' support is essential to the channel. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, Tyson Fury thinks it's going to be more dangerous next time around, and I think he's got a good reason to believe that. Excuse me, had to fix that. Didn't realize it was out of position. I think he's got a really good reason to believe that, because he's getting in the ring with somebody that is an extraordinarily dangerous fighter to fight. I was actually reading, it's actually a book on Sam Langford, and Jack Johnson made a statement about who he thought was the best fighter that he ever fought and who he thought the most dangerous fighter that he ever fought was. Now, he said as far as the best fighter that he'd ever fought, he said that was a fighter named Joe Jeanette. Right? If you're familiar, well, you're probably not familiar with, but Joe Jeanette, many of you guys aren't familiar. Joe Jeanette was a top heavyweight around the 1910 to 1950 time frame. Tall, strong, had a nice jab, right hand, right. So very fundamental, in the sense that fighters, in the style that fighters tend to fight in now. What he said about Sam Langford, though, was that Sam Langford was the most dangerous fighter that he ever had fought because of Sam Langford's power. Now, Sam Langford was only a guy that was like 5'7". He was like 5'7" and 175, 180 pounds. But people described him as a bit of a freak of nature because he had extremely long arms and he had an extremely broad chest. So although his legs were shorter and smaller, if you compared him to any other heavyweight from the weights up, he would have been considered a very big guy with a long reach. And he had the ability to knock people out or to put them out with one shot. Not necessarily to the level that Deontay Wilder does it, or at least, because you can't actually see a lot of the fights with Sam Langford, just hear him described. But whenever he wanted to get somebody out of there, he pretty much could get them out of there if they wanted, if they weren't the absolute top level of fighter, which made him, according to Jack Johnson, the most dangerous fighter that he ever fought. That, my friends, is going to be Deontay Wilder for the rest of Deontay Wilder's career, because like certain people, like a Julian Jackson, right? Like a Yeah, Julian Jackson is probably the best recent example of that. Somebody that can absolutely turn your lights off if they put their hands on you. And believe it or not, people that want to distract from Deontay Wilder's all the time. That is a very important and significant skill in boxing that not a lot of people actually have. So Tyson Fury is acknowledging that and saying he expects to see a more dangerous fighter with Deontay Wilder because he's going to be more hungry. I also think you're going to find a more dangerous Deontay Wilder because I think Tyson Fury is going to find it a lot harder to pull some of the shenanigans that people are tending to believe that he was pulling in that fight. And that's just the truth, okay? It'd be nice and easy to have these type of conversations in a way where I know that I was never going to get any pushback, or some of you guys were never going to get out there and make ridiculous accusations about me or say things that are just way over the top so that you can get me not to say something. That, my friend, is not going to work. Where there is smoke, there's a saying, where there is smoke, there is fire. And there is a lot of smoke around that second fight with Tyson Fury. And that smoke was not just raised by Deontay Wilder or raised by people that, are associated with the LDBC. No, this was stuff that was said about that fight right after it by people that don't even pay attention to boxing on the internet. That looked at that fight, UFC fans that looked at Deontay Wilder, looked at that fight and said that they thought that fight looked staged, that there was something that was just not right about that fight. And I do believe 100% that there were things in that fight that were not right, and they were not right because what was happening was not legal. Now, I've said this before, Tyson Fury has a reputation for cheating. He has a history of cheating. Significant history of cheating, a long history of cheating in multiple ways. And with a fight that is that expensive, with that much money and his career on the line, against a guy that the last round he fought against knocked him completely unconscious, I think Tyson Fury decided that he was going to try to get an advantage and make sure that wasn't going to be a risk, or it was going to be less risk for the second fight than it was the first. That is my belief after having watched the fight, after having seen what is going on in the conversations that people that are coming out of around Deontay Wilder's camp, that, yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is not going to be there for the third fight. And it won't, not because some reason Tyson Fury or other people around him wouldn't be willing to do it, but because there are people that weren't afraid to say something about what they saw. Now, there's a whole bunch of people in the boxing community that want to castigate you, that want to talk bad about you, call you a sore loser, this, that, or the other thing, because you think you see something that wasn't quite right. Well, if all they want you to do is to shut up, but you're not hearing Tyson Fury, like the conversation that these guys use about, well, Deontay Wilder didn't respond to any of this. I haven't heard Deontay Wilder say anything, so it can't be true if Deontay Wilder didn't say anything. Well, hey, I haven't heard Tyson Fury deny any of it. So if Tyson Fury ain't denied any of it, and all this stuff is out there on Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury's camp hasn't said anything, well, maybe Tyson Fury's camp is making an admission about what's going on, right? Just the logic works both ways. At the end of the day, though, I don't believe at all any of the things that are being said about Tyson Fury's gloves, or what's coming out later, that it wasn't the head wrap, it wasn't the headgear that made Deontay Wilder felt woozy, that Deontay Wilder didn't think it was that. Deontay Wilder thinks somebody tampered with his water and put something in his system that made him lethargic. And they did it close enough to the fight where he could not fight in his best condition. And this is a guy, by the way, Deontay Wilder, that is like a world record setter for fighters trying to come into the ring dirty against him. It wouldn't be the first time it would not be the third time somebody tried to get in the ring dirty with Deontay Wilder, because two guys tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs trying to get in the fight with him, trying to do exactly what people are accusing Tyson Fury of having done, knowing that they're up against a very dangerous fighter, a guy that can turn your lights out at any point in time, and they decide that they want a little extra help in order to even the playing field. That is Mr. Povetkin. That was Mr. Ortiz before the forced fight with Deontay Wilder, and some other guy whose name I can't remember tested positive for dope for performance-enhancing drugs getting in the ring with them. These guys know what they're facing in the ring with Deontay Wilder, and it is something that is real despite what people like Eddie Hearn or people that want to bubble around, bounce around your comment section have to say about it. So hopefully, we'll get to see this fight again. The third fight, it'll come out. Hopefully there won't be anything, no question that there's anything that is funny. People's gloves won't be flopping left and right? Deontay Wilder won't be walking in the ring looking like a zombie, rubbing his eyes, like wondering like why he can't get his balance, shit like that. You know what I mean? Won't be happening in the fight. But anyway, we'll see when it takes place. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.